Entrepreneurs, let me see the hands one more time. Let's see how many, 3, 4. How about supporters? Like mentors, investors. Any investors here? Mentor, investor, angels? We should talk. I call people, but people are lining up for the beer, so it's like it's not easy to bring them, but they're slowly coming. All right, let's get started. There is something that I really want to talk about personally. Talking about these kind of things in this kind of event is, I think, much more valuable and resonating. After having like 12 years of entrepreneurship experience and also working with give and take like 300 startups so far. In my career in various roles and ways, moving to other side of the table recently and having partnered with the Founder Institute, which I'm going to explain very soon. Now, as the name suggests, as FI, we work with a lot of founders level challenges also. So that taught me some valuable lessons recently, but recently this came out to me and it's made much more clear to me. So that is actually a big problem. Very, very big problem. I'm going to show with the numbers, I'm going to prove you. It's unfortunately considered as a taboo to even talk about it actually, which is actually makes entrepreneurship a lot harder. Makes an idea premature or can't come to life at all. In most cases, at least a major roadblocker for most entrepreneurs to start anything. That is individual, personal, human, whatever you call it, level of challenge that every single entrepreneur faces. I believe everyone here is facing this. I also face a lot of these problems, unfortunately, and pretty much severe level that concern me and my loved ones. And I've been recently trying to allocate more time and effort on content on YouTube or on other online helps. But I also look at other accelerators and VCs there. Is there support systems or not, that sort of thing? I couldn't find that much, honestly. That's why I wanted to start this initiative, basically a community, and an online community, so we can have a think tank. Okay, let's dive in. So a quick intro about myself. I am an entrepreneur, and I have a bootstrap startup company called Open4Co. And I'm a mentor, seen thousands of pitches, mentored 300 startups so far, and have equity ties with the 60 startups. Born and raised in Istanbul, Turkish. Then my expertise is mostly on go-to-market strategies and so on. But mostly, and unofficially, I'm working with the founders and the founder-level issues. Okay, it's content initiatives able to reach 400,000 impressions annually. We're going to make it bigger. We're just creating a ton of content repository. If you want, you can be part of it. And I was just creating a ton of content about startup challenges, typical startup problems, and so on. And also we do regular VC calls with kind of podcast style. So we have startup corner, but we didn't have something that is resonated with the human level challenges. That's why we're doing here. So here is the agenda of today, and we're going to talk about, basically we're going to have a kind of brainstorming session for the problems and the solution part, and I'm going to give some basic info, and we're going to have a open mic session that you can talk about your own stories as well. By the way, if you're an entrepreneur, you're saying maybe you might want to consider applying our programs, but sorry you missed it. But you can always, we are still accepting some applications. Also, you can apply from the new program. FI does is Founder Institute is the world's largest pre-seed accelerator program with 8,000 startup portfolio companies in 100 countries, programs in 100 countries. Some of the very much well-known VCs have already invested in our portfolio startups as well. We also have a VC accelerator program that we work with the emerging managers to launch VCs too. So for startups, we have 8,000 startup portfolio. And for VCs, we recently reached 1,000 VC firm portfolio so far. And my own VC, my firm, also part of this portfolio as well. So everything about very early stage startups here, and which means human level, founder level problems we are talking here. If you are an entrepreneur or if you're not an entrepreneur, I highly encourage everyone to take the DNA test. So again, you can see your entrepreneurship threat, your personal attributes of your entrepreneurship features, we'll say. With this test, it's a self-assessment test. It says apply, but you're not literally applying technically because you need to complete the entire application process to be able to apply, basically. I wanted to shout out quickly some of the founders, successful founders who make quite decent fundraising from different backgrounds. Well, obviously, the most famous one is the Udemy here. Most of them has some part of testimonials that they give is personal. So how much personal support they receive from us. That's the underlying message here. Enough for self-promo. I'm going to dive into the topic from now on. It's a very interesting topic, honestly. Let's move into the discussion that how the human side of entrepreneurship, startups, and venture capital. I guess my thesis here, building a startup isn't just about strategy, growth, venture capital, money. Not like this, honestly. It's deeply, deeply personal, human. So that's why I wanted to put this graphic here. I think this spotlight is too bright. Is it possible to close this? It's so hard to see the screen. Bright, it's too bright. So if you see, right, we all are actually made from tissues, organs, blood, that sort of thing. So we often forget with this grind, this everyday challenges, that sort of thing. But we often, unfortunately, forget this reality that we all are humans, right? All of these challenges, hustle, that sort of thing, take a toll in our health, our well-being, our relationship, and many more than that which translate to overall success. So I see in my thesis there is a huge correlation between your success, your well-being, and the success you have. That's why this week's topic is very relevant also for folks who is supporting startup, which is investors. So I dig inside a lot this new topic. It's not actually net deal, but it's taboo not to talk about. So a lot of different VCs and accelerator programs also focus on this kind of things to support founders in individual level. That's why I want to talk about this today. That's why it's relevant to you if you're a VC or doing because our job. Because we all exist to support entrepreneurs. If we do our job well, we get the privilege of becoming a part of their success story. So why not also supporting their individual level challenges? This is why we do at FI, also at the Founder Institute. Quick disclaimer. So I am an individual who is working in these kind of things and also suffering these kind of issues. I'm not eligible to talk as a doctor or anything. I don't have a profession. So if you're going to do anything, don't take my advice. It's not advice at all. Nothing I share today is a medical, psychological, professional advice. I'm not a therapist or anything expert. Before we start, we wanted to cover this. Here's the workshop guideline. From now, it's going to be much more fun. Trust me. This room is filled up. So we're going to have a couple of challenges, brainstorm one, and come a solution. We're going to do brainstorm two, and how our came. I hope we have more microphones. And how FI supports, and how other VC supports, and open mic session for general talk. A couple of rules to be able to, because a lot of people here, and also online. People online, hey, 20 people. I see you guys. The magic of 30 seconds rule. The iteration, okay? So keep the self-intro 30 seconds, and another for 30 seconds for giving your message, whatever you want to say. And maybe more 30 seconds to be answer questions and that sort of things. We don't want to hear a huge life story. Just throw it, okay? Just make statements, make a point, make full stop in every iteration. So that creates the dynamism in a short period of time. So short answers only, not whole story. Also be quiet. These are my rules. So let's get started. Okay. When I say about the personal human level of challenges, people don't get it easily. I realize that when I invite people on the stage, networking area. So it means personal, mental, social, and family challenges, generally speaking. So on the top of all of these, entrepreneurship, but business challenges too you have, right? For example, what do you have challenges? Funding, you need to fund the startup, right? Or cash flow issues, the competition, customer acquisition, hiring skilled team. This list goes on forever. That's why I create this design. So managing expectation, operational expenses, mini, right? Goes forever. Imagine all of these doing this and you managing your own health. And on the top of that, it's a taboo. Okay, first question for you all. What taboo means? First raise has the chance to speak. What taboo means? Anyone? You know what knows taboo? Can you give an example? Anybody else also? You can talk anything. So we are here to talk about taboos. Taboos. Everybody has taboos. I don't want to say. Correct. Okay, how about giving me the more obvious one? Religion. Okay, any other? Yes, religion. Yeah, that's a taboo. Religious taboo, that's how social taboos also exist. Anything else? Okay. Those are. Okay, that's also exactly a taboo. So we understand, we get the point, right? So it's interesting to see these kind of things are also taboo, actually. Okay, another question. In what condition can you talk about taboo? Or I'm going to give a very simple example. Going a bio break is a taboo, right? Going and doing what you're doing there in a bio break is a taboo, right? Would you talk about openly? What do you do in a bio break? Bio break means, toilet. So in what condition would you talk about that kind of problem? In what kind of area would you talk? There's two major areas. Any guesses? Yeah, doctors. So let's say you have a bowel issue, so you go to doctors and so on. Communities. So community of people who has bowel issues. Okay, I'm not going to go this way. Let's say you have rare disease and you survive, so your survival or X disease, it's a cancer survival, you go in this kind of communities to get the support, right? So you can talk about these kind of things freely in this kind of communities. What I see is this is lacking in entrepreneurship. So we have a ton of taboos to talk. What your wife gonna say is, maybe you need to put food on the table, you are sacrificing from your family. What your parents gonna say, maybe you're young, but there are some young people, amazing people here, maybe you will not be able to marry. That's the real stuff, right? So that's why we want to talk this in this kind of, we want to create this kind of environment. Let's go. And I'm gonna make you even cry more, right? So here are some stats that makes even more pessimistic this environment. I wanna make it like, cry level, right? 72% of the startup founders report that their role has impacted their mental health. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're much likely to have some sort of mental issues, right? Or experiencing. And 37% especially reported that they have anxiety. In a survey of founders, for 54%, they experienced burnout in about 12 months, which is pretty short time frame. And 83% reported high stress. What high stress means, right? And 93% of founders show signs of mental health strains, anxiety levels will go up 5 times the national average. This is like, you can check the resources. Entrepreneurs are twice likely to have suffered from depression compared to the general population. One study found that 49% has at least one time mental health condition. Those are like crazy. So see how it's concerning, right? I'm concerned. Do you concern? Come on. Do you concern? If I talk about other type of health issue, you will probably concern more. If I'm going to talk about COVID, you will be spooked out. But this is much more concerned because some people take their life. This is so much serious. Or consider take their life. So obviously, if you have this kind of task, please consider professional help. So this can go a very serious level. So I just want to show you that how serious this is. So when you see the entrepreneur's life, we might see sometimes like Galormin's life, right? You see this kind of list that they're pretty much rich and famous. But every success story has a journey of struggle, sacrifice, and mental issues, right? And you need to build some mental resilience. When you see here in the public, they are wearing their likable face. But in reality, when no one is around, this is the real picture, which I experience a lot. It's like a cringe feeling, that sort of things, right? So you face palm, and why I'm doing this? And you judge yourself. And the real problem is here, the entrepreneurs as leaders supposed to not show these emotion sides because they are considered as weak, and they are the ones who's supposed to hustle, right? Who's supposed to grind, who's supposed to have ambitions, right? So there is a hidden cost of struggle, grind, and ambition, and that is life-threatening, and that's extremely serious. So I want to ask you all, what are these problems could be? This is the brainstorming first. So this is brush up, okay? So since we have only cabled microphones, which is very old tech, but sorry for that, you can just shut up, say it, okay? I want to hear some keywords level. What are some common individual challenges of entrepreneurship? It's your turn. No funding, right? Loneliness, anxiety, more. Shut up. Throw it out. No shy. Third person, okay. More. I think you need to betray, okay. This iteration teach me one lesson that we need to shout, really, because you know the meaning to hear, it's so hard to hear. Betray another. If you say one thing, you don't say second. Let's go next person, other people. Just don't say it. Your turn. Physical health, yes, what else? Alex? Come on, guys. Felix, official lunch? Okay. But I would, time pressure, I would say. But speaking of time, I become my anxiety pick up 25, okay. Interesting, yes. Identity loss. It's called identity loss in terminology. I don't remember your name. Anything? Employees, okay. Newcomer employee, team member. All right, anything? Toshi? What's that? No. Individual problems we are talking about. Individual issues. You, come on, give me something. Come on, guys, brainstorming time. Huh? Come on, it's supposed to be exciting. Oh yeah, personal time, okay.
Yes, it's difficult to have your
okay.
own space.
Yeah, balance, right? Anything else? Lack of boundaries, good. Okay, anyways. Sorry? Sleep deprivation, that's exactly correct. Anything else? Are we done? Yeah, you need to sleep up, obviously. All right, last call. Going once, going twice. Come on, throw someone. I want you to be more creative. Imagine yourself. What do you struggle the most at night? So tell me, if you are not speaking yet, so please tell me that. What do you struggle last night? I swear you struggle something. Just focus. Take a deep breath. Sex life. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. So that's the right environment to talk these kind of topics too. Wow, it's a good one. Thanks. It's beautiful the things that we can talk about these kind of things. And thank you for taking leadership to talk. Yeah, that's true. It affects, by the way. My friend told me. Okay, anyway, let's go. All right, let's have a look. What are these? So stress, obviously, you've mentioned imposter, something I don't know. Isolation, we mentioned family, obviously. I could talk about the sex life also inside of the family issues too. It's also a part of thing. It's a reproductivity. It shouldn't be taboo, right? We should do more babies, guys. All right, decision fatigue, pressure, rejection, anxiety, burnout, identity loss of purpose. I'm gonna cry here. All right, uncertainty, guilt of privilege. Do you know this is a major issue? Guilt of privilege. I can assure you, all of you are privileged. All right, if you compare to the at least other maybe 3.5 billion people on entire half of the world. Minimum. I mean, even just being here in this comfortable, cushion, safe environment in this beautiful city, you're privileged. So a lot of people actually struggles with this guilt. Okay, fear, imposter. Do you know imposter means? Self-doubt. Okay. Hi. So how are we gonna? Let's double click on this. So, right. Okay, let's double click on each of them. Kind of random, but let's see. The anxiety, what happens when your mind tries to prepare for everything at once. Just like I recently experienced the anxiety of time pressure. What is that? I need to talk and these kind of things. What is going on? So, and it's like having too many tabs open in your mental browser. I think this is a lot of people experiencing this, a lot of browser in your tab. Focusing on one thing, one task, one day, one step is the key. Helps you to get back clarity. Okay, family. When you building a company, family time often becomes the first thing that sacrifice, unfortunately. I'm going to have a little bit some advice on that. from my personal learnings. And you please, if you can also share with me, I would love to learn from you if you have family, kids, and stuff. Yeah, so you build for them, but you forget to be present with them. That's very touching, honestly. Taking time to reconnect, even for small moments, is important in my opinion. You can see this one refills your energy, and it's an investment for your company. Actually, you should think it this way. All right. And often people sacrifice family time. Actually, they don't sacrifice their social media time. The scrolling, average people lost at least an hour a day, but they sacrifice for their family. Okay, sacrifice. Speaking of sacrifice, building something meaningful always requires some sacrifice. Sometimes bigger the sacrifice is better the return. But is this? Let's see. Time, sleep, relationships, right? Sex life, and or peace of mind. The key is here is learning which sacrifice move you forward and which one quiet that takes from too much from you. That you need to make a choice. What kind of sacrifice? Uncertainty is the price of innovation, unfortunately, because it's actually creativity. It creates the creativity. There is no method for building something new. It's uncomfortable, but it's also where creativity lies. So the goal isn't to remove uncertainty, but to stay calm enough to be able to move one step at a time. And the stress, again, this is one of the most overlooked and most used thing, actually. Very general term, but a lot of cause, these all creates the stress, basically. Founders live in a constant motion and pressure. So managing teams, investors, deadlines at once, right? Stress comes from a normal background. It's like a background sound for you, like a city noise, but you can stop noticing this. There are a lot of noise. Can you hear? It is an air conditioning noise. See? I would start to hear this one. Because this means I'm highly alerted. So I start to hear this guy is talking, they're annoying. So this guy is there. A lot of things. So it stresses. Like, how about we just chill, right? Sometimes. Rejection. This is one of the most common things, and it's argued that one of the most important major roadblock for any entrepreneur success. All right, can I ask you one open question? Confession time. Do you like sales? Just say it. Is anyone, yeah, okay. Anyone who hates sales? Depends on the culture. Depends on what you say. Anyone who likes sales? Well, interesting. More people like sales. You know, I have a love and hate relationship with, because I think winning is an entrepreneurship is in the losing game. So it's a numbers, powers law. So you need to pitch maybe 100 investors to get maybe 10 investors say yes. So you need to be able to, you know, have a sort of conversion rate from your sales. You need to maybe pitch 100 times, right? So it means depends on what you look. From where do you look? So 90% of the chance you're actually in losing game. So especially in your venture capital, in the first 4 years after you make investments, you only hear a losing game. That guy who is doing, let's say, biohealth, gone, bankruptcy. That one, lawsuit. That one, bomb. That's like you invest 100 companies. You hear only the 80% of them lose. And then there is one guy that maybe you didn't hope that it's going to be a huge success, become home run success, become on the Forbes magazine. That kind of things also happen. So in every game, in any business, rejection is the nature, right? So every founder fears that they're going to hear no. Obviously, you're going to hear no. That's the journey, right? So more than yes. So investors, customers, even co-founders, even your colleagues, everyone, also include your family members. Rejection hurts, but it also teaches you. Each no shapes your clarity about what you're building. It's like sculpting by removing what doesn't fit. Okay, so fear. So speaking about fear, also we related about they're blocking a lot of people to pitching your customers to learn from them. If you fear from rejection, you by default you're unsuccessful. Sorry, you're done. Like the most common problem in our accelerators that people fail, which is 70% dropout rate we have in our programs, is not talking with their customers. I can't just be obvious in that, right? Just talk with people. You can't be shy in an entrepreneurship. You gotta sell. Like, come on. Right? So fear is never fully disappears, but it's just changed the shape. It's like, it might sound like, what if I fail? Or what if it isn't enough? That sort of thing, right? But if you look at the fear in this way, everything is scary. Some people who has like extreme level health, mental problems, they cannot even leave from their home. Because what if a bus hits me? What if I catch a virus? What if blah, 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 right? So instead, why not see everything like an adventure? The trick is not to silence the fear. It's always there. You need to embrace it. But to use it as a sign that you're moving towards forward, right? You gotta break stuff. Burnout is, okay, is anyone experienced burnout here? 1, 2, 3, this is done. I mean, it means like 15% of this room experienced burnout. This is crazy. If I dig inside, I think we're gonna hear a lot of great stories here. I'm gonna take some time for that. Let me see. Burnout doesn't arrive suddenly. It actually builds up quietly. Late nights become normal. Excitement slows the turn to the exhaustion, but you still show up, but the sparks feels dimmer. Taking time to rest isn't quitting. It's protecting your energy that keeps your motivation and mission alive. That's the underlying message. And pressure is part of the every founder's life, obviously. And pressure from a team, investors. Pressure is also real stuff. I'm going to skip obvious things. Isolation, this is interesting. Do you think that I'm isolated? Once I'm big, I do events. Literally, I talk maybe minimum 7 people per day, like 7 external people, not in my team. At least 8 hours a day, I'm working with my team side by side. So, do you think I'm isolated? I'm lonely? Come on, any guess? I am lonely as F. I am like really talking about that. I'm holding my tears. So seriously, I'm lonely. I'm here to make confession, guys. I have a lot of more confession that I can't say, unfortunately. But anyways, I'm lonely. I'm being honest to you. So why is it that even with a team surrounding to your events and stuff like that, being a founder feels very lonely? Because if I want to make a decision, probably a lot of people are going to say, chota, because it feels risky for most people. Because you're, as a default, definition of entrepreneurship, you're the one who is doing adventure, you're in the expedition mode, you're alone. This crazy guy discovering some stuff, doing some stuff, crazy, like, let it do. He's gonna figure out or fail, come on. So you're lonely. So decision fatigue, obvious, I'm gonna skip. Loss of purpose. This is unfortunately another issue, which is a lot of people start very ambitious. There is one graph, I should have put this one there. The ambition starts like very big hype, and then it drops quickly, and then it's plateau, and then small bumps on the way, but generally going downward. Imposter syndrome is a self-doubt. This also happens so quick, so often in our programs. And every time that I see anywhere, like I see an identity loss. I think someone was mentioning, right? What was your example? Identity loss. Switching the roles, right? Head. Yeah. Especially if you're working from home. Like imagine, I'm mostly working from home, honestly, mostly everything online. So I need to be a husband. I was gonna say wife. Oh god, it was so awkward. Husband. I need to be a husband. A father, everything is demanding. A wife and a daughter is so demanding. If you have more than one woman at home, it's crazy. So anyways, so that creates the identity loss. And then you're trying to, like, then the more you're imagining, and the more you're planning and strategizing, thinking, putting the conscious thought on your future self, the more you're alienating your current self. Does that make sense? So that is creates a huge problem. Just like you're losing some of your organs, you're roaming in. Anyway, guilt of privilege. Oh, this is the last one because this is strange. A lot of people has it actually. So they think, I'm so much privileged, I'm not capable. It's still actually all about the negative side. So because of this privilege, they lack of some certain skills that a lot of people don't have it. So some founders face these kind of things. Anyway, let's go. So comparison trap is also happens often, which is, I believe a lot of people scroll stuff here. So can you imagine everyone has this addiction? I should have put the addiction to. Everyone has this addiction. Do you have it? Everyone has it. It's similar to this one. Or is it? Think about it. There is something wrong, right? If you do repeatedly, it means you can get this addictive feeling, the endorphin, if it gives you something. Scrolling through LinkedIn, hearing other founders' success stories, success with big quote, can quite turn inspiration into pressure. When I start moving to the other side of the table, accelerator, and then recently as a VC, so what happens is I start to see, oh my God, everything is goddamn lie. It's all the smoke and like what valuation means. Think about it. What valuation means? I agree, you agree, and nobody else agrees with that valuation, and then you are in the newspaper. And then suddenly a lot of people agree on that valuation. Oh, anyways, let's go. Let's go to solutions, guys. So much talk. So let's find out some solutions, okay? Can you give some examples? Pick up like, for stress, I believe this one. Any? Dozo?
Yoga, meditation.
Okay. How about fear? Yes?
Alcohol.
I didn't expect that. I'm sober last 2 years. Huh? What? Banging? Ah, interesting. So you could, if you hit bigger fear, that's actually interesting. Adrenaline, more adrenaline. That's interesting. Yeah. How about coaching for fear? Teaching someone how, coaching means as a solution. Get in, most definitely. Okay. How about going to one by one? How about for burnout? Any advice? Okay. Rejection. Any advice? Reject more. Okay. Those are awesome. Amazing. That's true. Let's have a look at really quick each. Family, protect people who are around you. For comparison trap, run your own pace. Connect or compare only with yourself. Isolation, connect before you collapse. This is important. Imposter, focus on the progress, not the perfection. Fear, refine what failure means, bravo. Stress, create a space for rest. So I have a new habit for that, running, which is I don't take my phone, anything, 30 minutes to 1 hour, so 5 to 10K. It's just exhausting, but I feel so good after that. Sacrifice, choose what's worth losing. Choose what's worth losing. I tap into one by one, but I think it's going to take a ton of time. Instead, I want to give you the mic to you guys because I want to hear from you. Because if you can just frame, I'm just going to read the titles on it, okay? Focus on the what's next step for the anxiety. Family, protect what ground you. Sacrifice, choose what's worth it. Uncertainty, build confidence through routines. Routines are very important, actually. I build a ton of routines and habits. There is this book, famous, like it's very useful, Atomic Habits. I read 3 times. It's an awesome book, Stress, create a space for yourself, and rejection, collect no's as data. This is what we do as in our program. Is anyone from here that on a program? There was actually left in the current program you're in, right? At the Founder Institute, we have like 12 modules, 12 to 14. Every week there are sprints and sessions, and there are at least 3 to 4 mentors giving you a brutal advice. Get ready for it. You're joining. Good luck. They are there for criticism because our job is seeing what's not working, so you could maybe focus on that, right? And imagine I can't tell how much percent of it, but people come to me like, I can't take it anymore. So there are like literally in our programs, people stress, people fight, people cry. All right, just get ready for it. So because building a real business is not easy, okay? Supposed to be not easy, otherwise everybody will get rich. So fear, what fear means, right, okay? Decision fatigue, automate the small stuff. This is very important because I always struggle a lot with every little small decision. So too many choices drain the focus. So I have one metric that is I highly recommended, which is if something is really contributing your growth, just double down. If something works, just double down it, do more, exploit it. If something doesn't work or doesn't contribute back to your anything you do, just erase it, terminate it. It works. I want to give you the mic. So these are the two my stuff. So why I'm doing this because I struggle a lot as a conclusion, and we're gonna have open mic session from now on. And I would like, I had times that I felt very much lost, tired, I isolated, and constantly pushing myself into look strong, look fun, look having fun, look happy. But what happens when things slow down, facing that what actually felt, not what I thought, actually I just confused and lost there. So that's honestly came to my turning point. I feel so much down and so much dark. That's why I wanted to create, I seek profession here, it didn't work. So one of the advice that I get, how about you build your own community around it? So that's why I wanted to do that. So thank you so much. So what I did it for that worked for me. So practicing self-reflection worked for me, building a support circle, which I'm literally doing now, learning to reset without guilt. So I was like counting every little moment that I was like sleeping 4 to 6 hours a day. Any awakening moment I was working until I had a baby. After that, my life like completely changed. That teach me a lot of things. So it means any downtime is actually not a downtime. It's actually an opportunity to reset, reconnect, be human, right? So then focus back and double down what you're doing. Small daily habits works. Failure to learn lessons. I like failure. I love failing. And I love experimenting. It works. And then lastly, power of boredom, because I wanted to put this on the last slide. I used to feel like every quiet moment with work, we feel with work, messaging and scrolling is achieving something. Actually, it's not. How about the afraid of wasting time it's an issue. Actually, but when I finally realized I allowed myself the space to do nothing, clarity started to return. Let's say going for a run, right, without any music or anything. Boredom, actually, it's something that we fear, just like our existence. Let's say take a walk, take a long shower maybe, start in out the window, or join a boring session like this, right? It's actually help you to reflect, so help you to think a lot. And then drum roll, please. I'm writing a book about it because I struggle so much. This was one of the advice, but I am a very impatient person and extremely busy, honestly, my time in demand. So what I did it open source. So everyone can contribute with their own contribution. I can also shout out you, book it in there. And we're going to double down on this distribution. Maybe I might make it free. I don't know. Or at least there is going to be a free version on my blog. So I put like simple as like a blog post style. And a year or 2 years later, I'm going to hire a professional editor and perhaps publish as a full patch book, maybe on sale. Let's see. So at Founder Institute, we do with the structure mentoring and accountability programs, global peer support, mindset and clarity sessions, and well-being for an empathy culture we try to build systematically. We do this. There are a ton of benchmarks. You can take pictures and you can check by yourself. There is very interesting stuff. There are even accelerator and VCs who focus on only this, other than our programs. We do like as a side benefit, right? To support our, because your well-being, if you're stressed, how are you going to deal with the 5 different board members who is on your shoulder or your investors? How are you going to really handle this stress? So that's why it's important. A lot of different accelerators, incubators also utilize this one. Among these, some of them very interesting. So all of them. Sorry for my broken English and for the rush. And I'd like to. This is your turn right now. I want you to share like any stuff that you see here, you experience. Take a moment, reflect. This is a confession time. I want you to confess. Be brave. Any volunteers? Microphone, please.
So I've had a co-founder who I had a bad feeling about when I was already a few months into the project. Yeah. So it is a lot like being married. So before you really go further into it and become more attached, you might want to listen to your gut feeling.
And imagine you marry with your co-founder. This is what I did. It's a really good story. Thank you so much for sharing that. Next.
Yeah, thanks. Before that, just today I have some issues about that. Yeah, I will say something real, and I really thank for you to support me, with your experiences. So what's the thing? So, I also want to get a co-founder or secretary to marry me, but most likely, you need to you will go along and you need to hire employees to teach them, right? Mostly you cannot find co-founders. Most of them are employees. But I heard that some employees, you need to train them, you need to invest in them, but then maybe some of them left, and even some of them become your competitors, and that thing really hurt you because, like you be good to them, but they're going to take advantage on you, and they betray you, and yeah. So when this kind of thing hit you, this kind of uncertainty, you don't know what to do. Yeah, but I want to know
Okay.
how you deal with this. Any
it's a question.
Any similar experiences?
Yes, we do. We have a very high turnover rate.
Don't worry.
Turnover rate, yeah.
Yes, and another thing is like you invest in someone for
Yeah, yeah.
training and so on.
Happen a lot.
And they even become your competitor.
So in my, the current company that open for a code, we have like, I guess over 120 people have come and go in total. So what happens is most of the causes that, because we hire generally pretty much young people. I mean, can't call them juniors, technically juniors. Before graduation, after graduation, these angle. So obviously there are some obvious reasons, but we become a school to teach them, right? But as soon as they get a good experience from us, they jump into, and then they go to a lot of developed countries, like 20 different developed countries they have gone, from venture capital to semiconductor to many different industries they have gone, after investing now 2 years, some of them like really break my heart when they go. I feel like my child is leaving from home. That much feeling. I was like crying literally. Especially 3 of them. I was like, incredible painful experience, they're leaving. So I really definitely resonate. What's the solution there is, I think it's not going to be an emotional one. It's a numbers game. So you need to be, in that sense, a bit more soulless. Because it's a numbers game. Some come back, you hire better ones. So you build a culture that is suitable for, to accompany this. But in our case, it's not because that we are bad. Because we are hiring very young people, and we train them very well, so they find be a really good platform for them. So they get hired from a lot of best companies out there. That's why. So I accept that reality. Anybody? Confession time. Alex, you must have some confessions. Alex is a pretty much successful entrepreneur and mentor of at5. You must have.
Well, confessions. In business, I'm super solid. I don't have any problems. But well, actually, I think I've learned to deal with the problems. I think if I had a confession, I think sometimes I've dealt with so many of those issues and problems that I feel like I've become a little bit apathetic or numb to other people's problems, and so I'm very unempathetic, in fact, and it's hard to relate, therefore, to other people because, I just think like it becomes like a callus after a while that you face so many challenges, and every day you wake up and the building is burning, and then after a while you survive for so long, you stop caring that the building's burning every day. That's it, and then you don't realize like, wow, actually no, other people care. And that freaks them out, and so you have to sort of help them through that. So I think I've become somewhat apathetic due to that, or somewhat calloused due to that. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Do appreciate it. Thank you for sharing.
So mine is like very, I would say, human, I guess. So like, let's say, for example, there was this project once that I was working on, and I was like, working very hard. It was basically for a startup. You're trying, putting in like 12-hour days, trying to something, and then you get to the point where that's done, and you realize what you could do, like under someone else, right? And you're like, okay, wait, I can do this by myself. I can actually like go somewhere, like build my own thing. And then when it comes to that, then there's like to a point where you don't really do it. So you're lacking like you procrastinate, accountability, and all that stuff. So that's something that's like very, I don't know, something that I experience a lot, which is like, okay, if I'm working for someone else, yeah, I can do it. I know what I'm capable of. But when it comes to myself, I'm not getting to it. So yeah, just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And they said that, unfortunately, we need to wrap up. But how about this? In networking time, we make a kind of round table. That table is always like empty. I'd like to hear, we should talk more, think tank wise. So we're going to have a lot of chance to introduce each other, exchange business card, that sort of thing, around there. So if you want to, mingle around, you can also continue. So unfortunately, we have only 1 hour for this. But thank you for the Venture Cafe team. I'd like to propose you one thing before we close. I would like to have a selfie, a group photo with you all. Because you guys are the funding team for this initiative. Because this is the first event that I'm doing for this, on this topic. If I tackle this kind of issues, but in Western society, a lot more appealing and more accepting. But here in Asia, unfortunately, we don't practice that much. So that's why everyone here is a founding member of this initiative. Shall we? Let's do a selfie first, like this. And then after that, we're going to do a group photo. We have 2 minutes left. My screen is broken, but you can remain seated. I'm going to take a selfie. We should say something. About mental health. How about this? Journey to the clarity. Clarity for entrepreneurship. Clarity. Mental clarity for entrepreneurship. Mental clarity. Entrepreneurship. Mental clarity for entrepreneurship. Huh? Is that? A bit muffled, but all right, minasan, ready? Mental clarity for entrepreneurship. Woohoo! Okay. And a group properties. Thank you. You can. I think this side is the best. I think sitting is better. Right? Okay. I'm gonna take you.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
He fixed my ears.
I was going to say, be careful of the glare.
If you like to connect a network, you can connect outside of the session room.